ancient and medieval India did not suffer from unemployment, because everybody, they could have been poor people, they could have been people who failed in their profession, but there were no unemployed people because they always had their Kulavidya. What we see today in Bharata, in this great Bharata Varsha, what we call as the Deshi Vidyas, Deshi professions, they're all nothing but offshoots of the Chatushashti Vidyas. During the Gupta period particularly, they were at their zenith, because these Chatushashti Vidyas were scattered across everywhere in the society. People of all communities, all creeds, all castes, all genders, anybody could pick up any of these and make them their family profession. That is how they came to be regarded as Kulavidyas or Kulavrittis. Namaste. There's one myth which is widely spread across, that of course Indians were very knowledgeable, but not all Indians. Just a few Brahmins. The people of the Brahmana community were so selfish. They had all the knowledge in their fists and they never gave it to anybody else. All others were fools. All others were ignorant and very incompetent. So this kind of a very wrong narrative has been spread. The intention was to demonize the Brahmin community, but they have done more damage to other communities, because it's an insult to their capabilities and potentials. Now, what exactly was the structure of Vidya in Bharatam? We always have the idea of two types of Vidyas, knowledge, Paravidya and Aparavidya. Paravidya is Brahmajnanam, which is very internal. It is only experiential. Anybody and everybody who goes inside can become a Brahmajnani and realize that. There is nobody from outside who can give us Brahmajnana. That apart, we have the Aparavidya, that is worldly knowledge. Again, here we have two types. One is the Vaidika Vidya, another is the Laukika Vidya. In Vaidika Vidya, the Vedas, which are supposed to be Apaurushaya, which are conceived, they have a mystic kind of language there, they have mystical ideas there, which need to be decoded and understood in a certain way. It is unlike the other common literature. So they needed specialized people to preserve the Vedic literature. And those people had to follow very tough disciplines of life, lifestyle, food, everything. They had to be very dedicated. They could not trade with the Vidya. They could not make money out of it. So they had to be totally dedicated. Of course, it's very natural and normal that today or in those days, not everybody would go to that. A very few people, a handful of people who said, okay, I will dedicate my life to the preserving of this Veda Vidya. So they remained with the Vedas. What about the others? More than 95% of the society. They didn't go to the Vaidika Vidya. Even those born in the Vaidika families, not everybody took the Vaidika. They took other Vidyas also. So the other Vidyas are so many. We have the Ashtadasha Vidya Padati, the prominent 18 forms of knowledge systems. That apart, the very popular Chatushashti Vidya concept. Chatushashti means 64. So there were 64 Vidyas, very prominent Vidyas. They were mostly Vritti Vidyas, mostly professional skills and professional knowledge systems. So these were very vibrant, very popular, very well pursued, very well developed, highly profound and highly funded and highly popular in ancient and medieval India. The first time we see the list of 64 Vidyas, that is a Chatushashti Vidya or the Chatushashti Kala, is in Vatsyayana's Kama Sutra. So after that, in many Bauddhic texts and many Jaina texts and many other Kavya, Purana, everywhere, we find the repeating of the 64 Vidyas. In fact, these 64 Vidyas are not just 64. There are many more additions to it. So apart from this, they have so many Upabheda, sub-classifications, so many regional variants, so many additions to them. Like this, the list goes on and on and on. What are these Chatushashti Vidyas? What we see today in Bharata, in this great Bharata Varsha, what we call as the Deshi Vidyas, Deshi professions, they're all nothing but offshoots of the Chatushashti Vidyas. During the Gupta period particularly, they were at their zenith, because these Chatushashti Vidyas were scattered across everywhere in the society. People of all communities, all creeds, all castes, all genders, anybody could pick up any of these and make them their family profession. That is how they came to be regarded as Kulavidyas or Kulavrittis. And they were given a lot of funding and encouragement, and they became very well developed and people took them with pride. There was not a single person in Bharatam who was not happy and proud of his Kulavidya. It's only today, after the Macaulay injection has been given to us, that we start feeling very inferior about our language, our Vidya, our lifestyle. But that was not so in ancient and medieval India, pre-colonial period, where everybody, the child was given the Kulavidya with great pride, saying, we belong to this Kula. This is our Kulavidya. This is our Lakshmi. This gives us food. So everybody in the Kula were mandatorily trained in the Kulavidya, all girls and boys. And then when they grew up, they had a choice. They were insisted upon to persuaded to continue their Kulavidya. But if the child, if the youth is interested in something else, no, I'll not become a farmer like my farmer or like my father or ancestors. I want to become an artist. I want to work with the king. I want to go on an expedition. I want to become a soldier. I want to become a merchant. Okay, fine. He can go. He can pursue that. If he excels there, fine. But what if he doesn't excel? What if he finds many losses there? What if it doesn't work out for him? Now he is not unemployed, because he always has his Kulavidya backing him. So the concept of Kulavritti, Kulavidya, which were all grouped under the Chatushashti Kalas, were the support system for anybody and everybody. This is how ancient and medieval India did not suffer from unemployment, because everybody, they could have been poor people, they could have been people who failed in their professions, but there were no unemployed people because they always had their Kulavidya, Kulavritti. So everybody born in a Kula automatically was employed into the Kula. He or she could opt out or remain there. But it was a major choice of most people to continue in the Kulavritti. So this is how hundreds of Kulavrittis came, their sub-classifications came, their regional variants came, and many more additions happened. A lot of small trade guilds, community guilds were there. They used to have their own norms, their own funding, their own investments, and everybody were taught all this. So they had pride in learning their Kulavidya. Today we have degree holders who are unskilled in many ways. Many people say that many of the engineering graduates or other graduates, or 73% of them don't have communication skills, they don't have people skills, they don't have industry experience. They only have read about them in the textbooks. They don't know what a machine works like. They don't even know to handle it. So this big gap between the industrial experience and the theory that we learn was not there in ancient India, because education was primarily skill-based. So this was a beautiful thing we saw in India. This made our country, our society very prosperous, very vibrant, and very creative, innovative. Newer and newer things used to come up, and this was the good old India which we have forgotten today. Today, Macaulay education with all its goods, it might have made us well connected to the world. In English education, it has been an asset in some way, okay, but the damage that it's done is terrible. The biggest of damages is the inferiority complex. To be ashamed, a farmer's son, just because he has a degree, is ashamed to go and continue farming. A Purohit's son is ashamed to continue Purohitya. An artist's son is ashamed to continue art. Simply because somebody from outside tells him, oh, you are all backward people, you have to become like us. Destination West is a kind of injection given to the mind. We have to come out of this colonial hangover. We have to come out of this mindset. Just look around. See around, there are so many Deshi Vidyas. After so many onslaughts, so many Islamic onslaughts, so much of Macaulay intervention, so much of missionary activity that has eaten into our system, despite all these, we have so many Deshi Vidyas continuing in some way or the other. With no government, proper government support or funding, and these kind of the apathy of our textbooks and our governments, with all these still somewhere, so many Deshi Vidyas are flourishing. Our Deshi artists, our Deshi artisans, our Deshi scholars, they have so much of respect across the world. The kind of respect and welcome they get is very different from the kind of respect and welcome that just people who go there as industrial labor get. So this shows that anybody who pursues his Deshi Vidya, his Paramparika Vidya, is doing a great honor to the Parampara, to himself, and will also get a lot of respect across the world. This is the time when we have to wake up as Bharatiyas and start learning at least one Paramparika Vidya properly. Take it ahead, grow with that, be proud of it, and that is how we can revive the glory of Indian culture, and also it will be economically boosting for our society. It will also make us proud. It's also our cultural identity. It will fetch us a lot of respect and marketing from outside, market people will come from outside, business from outside. So there are many positives to this, but we just have to come out of the colonial hangover that English is the only thing and a degree is the only thing that can make me something in this life. Without an English language, without a degree, I am nothing. This kind of a mindset should go. Let's look around, let us look within and revive this beautiful Paramparika Vidyas, which once made India so glorious. And I think, as Swami Vivekananda says, a country that's forgotten its past has no future. So if we want to build a very glorious India, Bharatavarsha in future, we have to bring out the Bharatiyata in every field, and also the education field, and also the different professional fields. Thank you. Namaste.